The Dow Jones has been flirting with 20,000 for some time now, unable to crack it. Heavy resistance has been felt at the border of the 20K, and traders have yet to be able to take advantage of the potential rally. If the Dow Jones breaks 20,000, this will be the result. You came here for the result, so let me unveil that for you. Today we will talk about 20,000 on the Dow Jones. We're going to talk about BitCoin. We are going to talk about poverty and homelessness. Let's get into it right away. Beginning with this, the Dow 20,000 fails to yield in the best week for US stocks in a month. So here we have this rally, but yet it's just shy of that 20,000 mark. And of course, that's just now. We'll see what happens next week. Yet again, investors watch the Dow Industrial Average just stopping short of that 20,000 level, even as U.S. equities resume their post-election rally and the best week of gains in a month. So here we are at this time frame where individuals are really desperately looking for a boom. I would suggest to everyone that it isn't the entire stock market which is rising, and this has been noted that you have particular sectors, and then you look even closer, it is particular stocks which have done very well. When you extract those particular stocks, the best performers, the movement of the stock market looks a lot less good, to put it simply. But of course, that's not the way it works. You sort of have to look at it on the bigger picture. But I just found it interesting to show, and I've shown those charts before, that if you take away, let's say, the top 2 or 3 performers from each sector, automatically all of the sectors start looking really bad as a result. It's really interesting. Because, and ultimately what has happened here is the incentives that central banks have been given to purchase shares of the stock markets. This basically gives them an opportunity, and they buy in to the biggest names. I mean, that's just the way it works. So they all are buying up these stocks and choosing particular ones, and that results in, of course, inflated prices in particular stocks versus entire sectors or the entire stock market as a whole. There's more in there, but I think we'll leave it at that. Record 95 million Americans not in the labor force. The number grew 18% since the Nobel Peace Prize Obama took office in 2009. Think about that. 95 million people in the US are not in the labor force. Now, of course, if you think about it, I mean, not every single person can be working. I mean, you're not going to have an infant working. This is the way that numbers are calculated. But when you think about it, I mean, it's 95 million people. And then you also have to factor in the other numbers that they mention here is that it grew by 18%. And you think that, what that really comes down to is that nearly 20% higher numbers when he took office till now. I mean, it just shows you how bad things have gotten. But hold on to that, because near the end, I'm going to show you even more statistics about this. Let's look at this right here. Labor force participation, but specifically 65 years and over without disabilities, okay? And it's clear, it's really distinct here. The trend line is up in practically a straight line. They're suggesting, this is the way that media skews information, and I love seeing it. I love seeing the deception, and I love picking it apart and making it clear for everyone to see. They said more people are retiring. You got these baby boomers who are just in droves. They're just retiring right now. Where I see it to be a little different is they've taken these numbers that people over 65 without a disability are not in the labor force. But just like the others, not in the labor force, you see people over 65, they can't get work. So it's not like they're retired because they're ready to go to Florida and relax for the next 20 years or what have you. No, they got laid off from their job, wherever that was, a Walmart greeter, or maybe they worked at, here or there, doesn't matter. And as a result, layoffs, they can't get another job, they're not part of the labor force, and they're calling it as if it's, a beneficial thing that they're ready to retire. It's not like that. In fact, I've spoken to many people having this channel now for the past few years, 2011, and time really flies. But what I've noted is that so many people have contacted me over the years saying, I'm such and such age, whatever that would be, let's say 60, 65 years old, and they are desperate for work. They're looking for work. They need work, but they can't get it. And it's something that is truly unfortunate, and we have to do what we can right now to change this. Let's look at this. Remember, I did a video about it recently, about the Dallas police and fire pension members, okay? Remember, they decided that there would be a little bit of a change occurring with their pensions. A little bit of a scheme or scam. And what this was all started because of something called DROP. And essentially, deferred option retirement accounts. This was a very profitable way, and it caused what they would say a shortfall. They couldn't pay back. A Ponzi scheme. No denying that, right? The city has agreed to put in an additional $1 billion over 30 years. They're proposing a series of, here we go, bitter pills to make up the rest of the $4 billion shortfall. Let's see what they've done here. The city is calling it. Let's just look at this. This is the kind of thing I live for. Equity adjustment. George Orwell couldn't have said it better. Retirees are calling it a clawback. That's right. You made money. Let's just say that you made money in your stock. Okay, I invested in Google stock. Today it is $100. Tomorrow it is $200. I made $100 profit, you would say. Wow, amazing. Done so well. Wait a second. Google and its board and the shareholders, everyone came together and decided that no, it wasn't going to be $200 because they can't afford it. So suddenly it's now $100 again. And you say, well, wait a minute, I made all that profit. What happened to it? Well, they decided to have an equity adjustment. I mean, that's the kind of thing that this is. Yeah, maybe you didn't agree with drop. Maybe it was a bad system. But the fact remains is that it was in place. It wasn't as if they were doing anything illegal, as far as I'm aware. At this time, everything was allowed to happen, but they're clawing it back. That's called theft. As far as I'm considered, as long as it was legal, they claw it back. They have their equity adjustment. They claw it back. That's illegal. That's theft. I'm not agreeing with either side. I'm just looking at it from a top view saying, what if that was your stock? What if that was your bond? What if that was anything that had some sort of money coming to you because of appreciation and they pull it back? Suddenly things don't look so good anymore. That's what worries me about all of these paper assets. Really, really troublesome. Look at this. Homelessness. In New York City, record high right now. At the same time, you have unemployment rate falling to cyclical lows. So what are you telling me? You're telling me that unemployment right now drops down. It just keeps dropping and dropping, and everything is just fine, right? Everything's just fine and dandy. It's all flowers, all rainbows. It's all happy faces, right? Then you look at it, homelessness at a record high. That should tell you something. That should tell you how bad things are, and you can't skew the numbers anymore. Now, the Nobel Peace Prize winner, the Lord and Savior, Barack Obama, Emperor Barack Obama, he doesn't authorize any killing. Okay, what he does is drop kinetic love bombs. Okay, as he called it, kinetic action. Okay, they're love bombs, they're peace bombs, and he was, man, he did such a great job. This is where we have to commend Emperor Obama, where he was responsible for 26,000 bombs being dropped in 2016 alone. 26,000. We are supposedly in a peace time right now. There's no world war. This 26,000 isn't World War II. This isn't the Vietnam War. We're talking about a supposed peace time, and 26,000 times bombs were dropped. Let's move on. Last article. Oh, actually, this is it. I just wanted to say, if you found this video informative, and surprise, if you didn't find it informative, or if you like what you're looking at, give me a thumbs down. And that's all for this video. If you found it informative, I know you'll find my book, The Money GPS, even more informative. So, you can actually look through the book. Just go over to Amazon where they have a look inside feature, which will allow you to flip through the pages of the book and see if you like it. Take care. P.S. There are no pictures of the Janet Yellen, Ben Bernanke hybrid in the book, I promise.